Hey guys, Brandy here. Welcome to the kitchen. This is the beginning of week 2 of the July Summer Pantry Challenge. And tonight I am gonna actually use my Instapot. Let me show you what I have. I have a mango jalapeno barbecue sauce chicken thighs. They're still partially frozen, but they'll be thawed out soon enough. But I'm fixing to put them in here and put them on the slow cooker feature so they can just do their thing. And we're gonna have, I'm gonna use the rice cooker and I'm gonna do a rice with this. And then I have broccoli florets and I have some Vidalia onion and a pepper. I think I have a yellow pepper. And in case I may find a green one in the garden. I think I saw a few when I was watering earlier. So I could probably go grab those as well and just stir fry those. So we'll have that with this. Now these are not like, these are whole skinless, boneless thighs. And I marinated these on 7/12/2023 and then I just froze them. And I'm excited to use this. I'm thinking about in the rice, I have a few little jalapenos I picked in the garden. I'm actually thinking about cooking those in with the rice to see if they add a little heat to it to go with this. So it's mango jalapeno barbecue sauce. So anyway, that's what we're having for dinner tonight. And I'm just gonna get it going in here. So this will be super easy because it's Instapot plus my rice cooker. And then the stir fry vegetables I can do out on the Weber. Y'all have seen me do that. And dinner will be done tomorrow. Hey guys, it is Wednesday night. I'm trying to see the date, July 26th. And on the menu is Swedish meatballs and noodles for dinner, and I made a big mistake. I got what I needed out, and I had my cookbook, as it's the old Betty Crocker cookbook recipe for Swedish meatballs, and I was doubling the recipe because I didn't have any. It calls for half of a pound of ground sausage, and all my sausage is frozen and I only have a pound, so I just thought, well, I'll just double it, and you know, if we have extra, we'll either, that'll be leftovers, or I could possibly freeze it and save it for another meal. And so I've had all my stuff out. I've got my breadcrumbs ready to go. I've got my minced onion ready to go. And when I was doing the conversion of the math of how much I needed of each item, I realized that I was supposed to pre-mix this up and let it refrigerate for 2 to 4 hours. And I didn't do that. So with this one, I'll cook these, and then I'll put this in it when it's hot and put some cherry tomatoes, and I think I'll just put it in the oven and let it kind of burst, because I'll put his in the oven and let those burst and be all yummy. And yeah, I guess I'll put a few little things. I'll show you what it looks like when it gets done, but I'm just making this up as I'm going. But we'll have something to eat and it'll be good for us, and that's what's for dinner tonight. So I'll slip in how it turns out, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow night for dinner, because we're... Okay guys, my creation just came out of the oven and it's delicious. It has a little heat to it, but yummy. So this turned out really good. I'm using the other bag salad from Costco. It was just one of those kale salads, and that's what we're having for dinner. I just did the sausage in the oven when I heated these up. I just did everything in the oven to keep it easy. And so now we're gonna eat dinner. So I'll see you tomorrow night for dinner. We're having Swedish meatballs. Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Today is July 27th, And this is our second week of the July 2-week summer pantry challenge. And last night we were supposed to have Swedish meatballs on our menu, and I did not read. I had everything ready to go, but I did not read my recipe where it stated I needed to mix up my meatball ingredients and let them sit and rest in the refrigerator for about 2 to 3 hours. And so I just switched last night's dinner with tonight's dinner because I had chicken sausage in the refrigerator I had got on special at Costco, and that dish was delicious. It was so good. I got to use up cherry tomatoes I had, bell peppers I had just picked out of the garden, and I had a goat cheese jalapeno olive oil infused mixture I had gotten several weeks back at the farmer's market, and oh my word, it gave a nice little heat to it. It was delicious, and I definitely want to make it again. Matter of fact, we finished it off at lunch. It was so good. So I need to get my meatball mixture mixed up so it can rest, and then I'll finish this up later. So, all right guys, I'm back. So this is our Swedish meatball meat that has been sitting. It's been in the refrigerator. Let me get my apron. For a couple hours now, and I have a small cookie scoop, and I'm just gonna do that, and we'll see. I may need another pan. I really don't know because I doubled the recipe, but we're gonna bake these at 350 for about 30 minutes. We'll check the temperature, and then all we have to do to go with this is make a roux on top of the stove that goes with, that you pour on top of these. And then I have our corn John pulled out of our garden and shucked it for me. And I'm gonna roast it in the oven. And what I'm gonna do is put some infused olive oil and some salt and pepper. And then I have my last jar of beef bone broth. And I'm gonna put it in the rice cooker with the last of my white, I found some more downstairs, of my white basmati rice. And so now I can open up my brown basmati and put it in the big gallon jar that I stored the white one. But I wanna get these going first. So we're just gonna take a scoop and drop them on there. Alright, I'm going to speed this part up.
So now I want to give you the recipe for the Swedish meatballs. This comes from the Betty Crocker cookbook from 1972 on page 261. I doubled the recipe, but I'm only going to give you the original recipe. You need 1 pound of ground beef, half of a pound of ground lean pork, half of a cup of minced onion, 3/4 a cup of dried breadcrumbs, 1 tablespoon of snipped parsley, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 egg, and half of a cup of milk, 1/4 of a cup of oil, 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of paprika, half of a teaspoon of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, 2 cups of water, and 3/4 a cup of sour cream. Now this is the full recipe, which includes the roux that's going to be the sauce for your meatballs. Now I did not need oil because I baked mine in the oven, and it worked wonderfully, and I highly recommend that over pan frying them. Also, with the roux, it calls for 2 cups of water, and it tasted fine. There was nothing wrong with it, but if you had bone broth on hand, I think that would really just give a very deep depth of flavor, and next time that's my plan. I just only had 1 jar left.
Alright guys, these are our corn, our first for the season. And I just put some caramelized garlic infused olive oil on it and some finishing salt and a little cracked pepper. And I'm just putting these right in the oven with the meatballs. I have one tray I put in. I'm going to let them cook for about 5 minutes more because they were bigger. I don't have any more pans. So I just made one tray of the meatballs bigger than the others. And so I'm going to go ahead and put the corn in. I have my oven set to 350. It's supposed to take about 30 minutes, but I'll check with my my meat thermometer to make sure everything's cooked through. And I think I'm going to do that first and go ahead and get the rice going. And then, because the roux won't take long, and I'd rather have the meatballs done and just sitting, because I can leave them in a warm oven. And I'm not going to fry green tomatoes, and I'm not going to do zucchini, because I remembered the other night we had lady peas. I think they're zipper peas, not lady peas, and some potatoes. And I have a whole dish of leftovers. So we're going to have that with our corn, with our Swedish meatballs and rice, and that's what's dinner. And I think I am going to cut our watermelon. I haven't got around to cutting it, and it needs to be cut. So that's what's for dinner. I'll hop back on and show you how to make the roux, since I haven't done this since, I think it was January or February. And show you how to make that roux so that you can just slather it over your meatballs and rice, and you'll have Swedish meatballs and rice. So anyway, we'll see you in a bit.
So here I want to explain how to make this roux. In the recipe, which I'll insert a picture of the original recipe, it calls to use oil to make a roux, and I used butter. So I used half a stick of butter, and remember I doubled my recipe. So I did half a stick of butter to half a cup of flour, some salt and pepper, and I did add in the paprika, and then it was 4 cups of water for me because I doubled it. And once it's set up, then you added in, I added in 1.5 cups of sour cream, which was almost the whole tub. You could have put the whole tub in. And I really do think that, like I said, if you had some really nice beef bone broth, that you could have used that in place of the water. And I just really think that depth of flavor that you would get in this would have been just like, it would have sent it over the top. Like it would have made it a next level kind of dish. I only had 1 jar left of my beef bone broth. I need to make some more. So I just followed the water that was in the recipe.
Okay guys, so we've got our roux here. So all we're going to do now is fold in our sour cream. And it should be 1.5 cups. This is 2 cups. And I don't know if I'll use the whole thing or not. We'll see. Let's see if we can get that mixed in. Oh, that's so pretty. This looks so delicious. I remember we really liked it before.
That looks good.
Thanks. So that's your sauce. So you could put your meatballs in here. Let me pull them out and show you what they look like. And I've got that turned off. But I think I'd rather just have it like this, and people can put that on their rice and their meatballs. And if we have meatballs left over and we don't use all of it, or this is gone or whatever, you could use the meatballs with something else. So let me pull them out and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I just turned the oven off. And I'm glad I used parchment, but those are the meatballs. And that worked out putting the one pan in earlier because they were a little bit bigger. Here's the other one. And here is our oven roasted corn. It would probably be, I don't have any, but if I did, it would be really tasty with some Parmesan cheese on it. So yeah. This is what's for dinner, y'all. And I do have the peas in my rice cookers. It's right here. It's done. And I have the peas in the microwave. But I did want to show you the cookbook. This is from 1972, and it is the Betty Crocker cookbook. And this recipe is found on page 261, and I'll put this recipe in the description. So anyway, that's what we're having for dinner. I'll slip in a picture of it plated up, and I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you tomorrow night for dinner. Bye.
So these Swedish meatballs were so delicious, and we finally finished them off. Here's the recipe from the Betty Crocker cookbook. So guys, this is my whisper mill, and I am grinding up my own dent corn. It's white dent corn, so that I can make my own cornmeal for the next recipe that I'm going to make. This is going to be a Mexican cornbread, and you need 1 cup of white cornmeal. Of course, I milled my own, but you could use store-bought. Half of a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of cream-style corn, 2/3 a cup of buttermilk, half of a teaspoon of soda, 1/3 of a cup of oil, 1 cup of grated cheese, and 1 small can chopped green chilies, which I didn't use the last part. I had fresh jalapeno from my garden that I de-seeded and minced up, and that's what I put into the cornbread. And you bake this at 425 in a greased skillet for 30 minutes. And this was so delicious. I did add in, I had a little cilantro, so I added it in. And this was just absolutely delicious, and I will make it again. And this came from the Women's Exchange Cookbook, Volume 2, page 196.
Hey guys, it is Friday night, and it is July 28th. So we're in the 2-week July pantry challenge, and I'm putting just a little bit of avocado oil in my pan. We're having chili for dinner, and this is going to be so easy, like so easy. So if you watched my latest canning video, you saw my chili base that I canned, and I actually ended up canning more. So I have, after I take this one off, I still have, I think it's like 11 jars on the shelf. So that's like enough chili base probably for a year for us, because we really only eat chili maybe once a month, if that. So we eat it more, we will eat it more when it's cooler, but so I'm going to heat this up just a smidge, and get a utensil. And so what I'm doing, a lot of times I will have unflavored ground turkey. I don't, in my freezer with like onions and peppers, and I don't have any of that. I only have prepared taco meat, but guess what? It's the same flavor profile, so I can totally use this in my chili. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And this is one of the great things about when you bring this stuff home, cooking it in a big batch, putting it in a bag, freezing it, and getting it out the morning you need it. So this is 2 pounds of meat. And it's fully cooked. It already has peppers and onions and seasoning in it. So I'm just kind of breaking it up from where it was sitting in my freezer bag. And honestly, you could do this even if it wasn't totally thawed. Just turn it on a low heat and let the rest of it get unthawed, or throw it all in an Instapot and do it like a slow cooker in the morning, and then it'll be done. So the rest of this is literally, I've already opened my cans. So I have 2 cans of pinto beans. These are just plain pinto beans. I have 1 can of kidney beans. Here's my 2nd can of pinto beans. And I have 1 can of black beans. I do like to drain my black beans. Alright, so we're going to put our black beans in here. Okay, so let me mix this up. So we have all of our beans and our meat. They're all in here. And so now all we're going to do, and I'm kind of sad because I haven't grown tomatillos this year. I'm going to have to buy some at the farmer's market so I can make some more tomatillo salsa, because I love this in my chili. Sorry, I had something on me. So I'm just gonna, this is my home canned tomatillos from last year, and I just never got around to starting them, and I wish I would have, because we like this. Oops, wrong way. Alright, so we're gonna put this in here, this whole jar. Incorporate that. And then we're just going to put our chili base that we canned the other day. I am super excited. I gave this flavor. I think I should taste it. Out of the jar, so because I gave it I used the Ball canning book for Mexican seasoning blend, so tastes like chili. So I'm gonna pour this in here. And I'm just gonna let it heat up. I do think I want to put a little bit more seasoning in it. And I'm just going to use more of that Ball mix that I mixed up. And let me get a measuring spoon. So I'm going to put 1, 2 more of those. I want to add some salt. About half of a tablespoon, and let me mix it up. Get a new spoon. Let's see. This is all fully cooked, it's just not warm. That's good. That's really good. I was thinking about maybe putting in a little lime juice, but I don't think so. I think the tomatillos that work. So
the chili and the Mexican cornbread were
Just
delicious.
let it heat up.
So for Saturday night, I did a teriyaki chicken leg, and I roasted in the oven with green bell peppers, and we had some rice and some of my homegrown canned green beans and some of my onions, and that's what we had for Saturday.
It is July 31st. It's the last day of the second week of the 2-week challenge. I originally was going to cook this meal yesterday and we were just going to do leftovers tonight, but it just, everybody was kind of going in different directions yesterday, so yesterday was the leftover day. And that worked out. Matter of fact, I even had leftovers for John and I had leftover chili for lunch. So it was all good. So what I am doing, well, what I have done is I have made a focaccia. It's in the oven baking right now. I have my noodles, my linguine noodles. They are einkorn linguine noodles that I get from Azure Standard, and they are over there boiling. I am waiting for my water to come up to a boil so that I can cook my shrimp. This was some shrimp I had gotten. It's coastal Key West shrimp, and I had gotten it from Costco a while back, and I made a beautiful salad. So I'm just gonna boil the shrimp for a couple minutes, take it out, and stop the cooking process. And I'll drain off my noodles, and then I'm going to saute some garlic infused olive oil with some butter, and I have some of my fresh soft neck garlic over here. I have peeled and I'm fixing to chop, and I'm gonna and I have a lemon in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna put a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon juice in it, and that's all I'm doing for our pasta. I don't have a recipe. I'm just going with it, and I hope it tastes good. I'll add some salt, and I'll probably add some of the Salt Sisters Tuscan blend, because that's usually a safe one to go with. And I'll just kind of sprinkle some of that on, and that's what we're eating for dinner. So, actually, I think it's going to probably be really tasty, and I'm hoping the kids like shrimp, so this will be part of my kids I know will like it like this. The other ones, if they don't want shrimp in it and they just want to eat shrimp plain, I'll have some of that. You'll see, I'll put in a picture of my focaccia bread when it comes out, because I put cherry tomatoes in it and some fresh thyme from my garden, and fresh rosemary. It's the same recipe I did before in June. And other than I added thyme, and I added the tomatoes, but there was a part of it where I didn't put any tomatoes, because I have one kid I know who would totally not be chill with that. So, you know, and he loves the focaccia. So anyway, that's what we're having for dinner. I will have another 2-week challenge in August. Right now I'm thinking it's gonna be, it'll start the second week of August and go for 2 weeks, because that will be the first week that we start school. Actually, it'll be the first week that both my boys, one boy starts one week and the other boy starts college the next week. But he lives at home, so there'll be some adjustment, but I think it'll be a good time for routines. And I will do another menu. I'll try to keep it kind of generic, so that you can make it work for you if you want. I'll put it up on the blog. You are welcome to it if you want to use it. Of course, always do one on your own. And I hope that these have motivated you, or maybe got you excited to try it, you know, really setting more of a tight budget, even in these times of everything costing so much, and trying to be able to get better at budgeting, sticking to it, you know, making a meal plan or using mine, sticking to it, tweaking it. You know, you might like part of what I put in, and you may have parts like just things that your kids like, or you like, your husband and you like, or you and whoever like, or you like. Whatever works, you know, for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you make things, the other way you can really save is if you are of a smaller family, or it's just 2 of you, and you make a bigger batch of it, well, guess what? You could revisit that. You could cut how many days a week you have to cook. So with that, I hope that you have a wonderful evening or whatever time of day that you get to watch this. And I will see you next time. I believe the next video is gonna be an update on the garden and kind of a redo. And we did some, I went in and I kind of did like Summer Garden 2.0 because I have more of an extended season, and so quick crops like some cucumbers, beans, things like that, I had enough time to replant some of that stuff, so I did. And it will also include the first of my fall seeds that I have started, and I'll share that with you, and what seeds I have gotten and what I've got started, and we're testing it out in the greenhouse to see how it goes. So that'll be the next video, and with that, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.